every time when you talk about the Lovin brands or SMASHI, you describe them, Augustus Media, you describe them as modern media companies. As you can probably tell by looking at my face, I'm not the brightest light in the room, so these terms go all over my head. What does that mean? What is a modern media company, and how is it different from a traditional old school media company?
Okay, I like this. What's the word that when you say simulation?
A thought experiment.
A thought experiment, it's fine, yeah. Okay. Look, again, trying to start at modesty, but not to come across as a media scholar or historian. However, you've got media and mediums. And on the medium side, it's usually the distribution. It's usually the form that one consumes media. Like in a really basic, like if you think of text, audio, and video and the printing press, if we think of the first newspapers, the printing press is late 15th century. The UK Times started in 1750. The New York Times and The Economist started in 1850. The Ottoman Empire banned the printing press for 100 years. One of the sultans brought it back, but controlled it. In this region, we sort of saw some printing presses in early 19th century, but the first one didn't make it to Riyadh until 1953. The first media law was written in Saudi in 1972. First Asharq al-Aswad newspaper in 1975, 200 years after, I think I said 1750, but 1775, 200 years after the UK. So that's the newspaper, print, books, printing press. Then radio was, early 20th century. And then you had TV about 1930s, color TV, 1950s, cinema, all this sort of stuff. So then, internet, 1994, 95, websites. I think a lot of the decision around websites and media companies were to do with what the website can hold. So a lot of TV stations, wherever you grew up, if you think of the website that the TV station that you had, it was largely a text website. Sky News, BBC had articles, but before they didn't have articles, why would they? Because they were built in a cable era, or BBC before. But so yeah, the evolution of TV in 1970s, it became cable. Before then, it could only reach a country or a state. Then it could reach international with satellite. So it sort of evolves like that. And, then with the internet has evolved even more. And then the smartphone, this sort of amalgamation of text, audio, and video and social media. So we think of it, the medium, as this sort of internet, but the predominant drivers of the internet. And I think I was speaking to a media exec recently, and they sort of said that, streaming they didn't really like the word streaming, but I feel like it's underrepresented and it's underserved, because I think it's a real driver now. Like everything is going to be streamed, and then that convergence of streaming of music and video. And, if we think of everything, if we think of airplanes and devices and cars and technology, like that sort of connectivity of streaming has a way to run, irrespective of head devices and things like that, and beyond the mobile phone. I think streaming is the real thing here. So then we think of that in terms of mediums and modern media. And why we called it modern media, we didn't call it a mobile first or a content. Like we literally called it a media company. And I met an entrepreneur recently, and he told me, you're limiting yourself by calling it a media company. You should call it a reach company. Then you can be a tech growth play, and you can be a unicorn. And I was kind of like, cool, but like, I don't see any problem with being a media company. Just like if I launched a legal services company or legal company in this day and age, it doesn't have to be a legal SaaS. It can be someone who understands, the internet and cybercrime and all the intricacies, all the things around IP and AI and rights in terms of the internet, right? So that's what when we say modern media, we sort of know that we're an evolution of a modern media company. And that kind of grounds us a bit. It kind of says, okay, we're not getting stupid high valuations. We're not over-promising. We're sticking in this media space, and we're an evolution of it.
Where's traditional media heading? Television, print, radio, newspapers. Do you think these will continue mutating over time into modern media? It'll just swallow them? Or do you think there will always be a market or an audience for traditional media, newspapers, television in the form that it originally existed in?
I think there'll always be a place for them, whether it's a market or an audience. And it's interesting, you stopped short when you said traditional media, you didn't include websites. And that's 30, 40 years ago. So like, why not? Like, you know, because I think websites are traditional media. And I think they've sort of died off a bit in terms of market share and revenue and audience. So, you know, we evolved, you know, the first websites, you know, the first sort of banner ad was 1994, 1995. That's when Google started. The term Web 2.0 was coined in 2004, and that's where the social networks, the iPhone was 2007, although no one had an iPhone in 2007. It was kind of 2009 and 10. So basically the way I think of this thing is media always fragments. And the reason I answered it that way is because when does social media, which is 20 years old, become traditional media? In what way is AI taking over? And then at what point do you think that there's no audience for social media and there's no business model around it? So the way we like to see it is we've decided to be a digital company, a digital media company, but we can be a traditional digital company as well as one who lives on social media, as well as one who tries to make bets on streaming and other forms of media consumption in the future.